Hi guys. My camera's a little crooked. And I think all my brightness is not so bad. Let me turn my chat on before anybody gets on here. And Chris! Alright, let me grab some paper towels real quick. Wow, nobody is on there. Hi, Rian. I forgot some paper towels. All right, I'm gonna give everybody just a second to jump on here, and we can get started real quick. All right. First, I'm gonna need this, and all time for me to sit down with no scissors, but I don't think I'll need it. Whoever else jumps on, make sure you say hey, because my chat is to the side, so it won't start until, okay, there it goes. And it shows me Ren is on. And my crafting girl is always on there. Ren, girl, we got to get together. I went to Walmart tonight and their Christmas stuff, most of it's out. And believe it or not, I was very, very surprised that Walmart actually has, let me grab one more thing. Hey Sheila, oh my gosh, Sheila is from Missouri. Oh my gosh, I love it when people are like from another state, from us Georgias. All right, oh my gosh, thank you. All right, let me give everybody, because I am like 30 minutes late. I had to go and get a lot of my little wood things, tell her a lot of little wood stuff so she could get started on a pretty big order for wood stuff that I had. And then I had to go to the Dollar Tree, and I'm decorating for a golf tournament Thursday, so I had to get a whole lot of stuff ordered. Then go by the Dollar Tree so I could have all up for night. Then go by to Walmart. So I was like an hour late getting home than normal, and I wanted to have everything out. Hey, Miss Carol, Miss Jane. All right, let me go ahead and get started a little bit, and everybody will come in. I don't know if you've seen a lot, and this is where I need to. Hey, Mama. This is where I need to. I just started watching you about a week ago. Oh, thank you so much. This is where I need to learn. There's a button you can push on your phone somewhere that will turn it around so you can see. Let's see if that's a 3 for y'all. Is it backwards still for you? 31. We're going to do a little bit of Halloween decorations tonight, and I'll show you some of the supplies I'll get. If you watched my ghost craft that we did, remember it was 2 pieces of wood, which I want to explain to y'all. Before I got these pieces of wood, I had all intentions on cutting it with cardboard, because right now, after you put the little Jenga blocks, the ribbon, the jute on it, from a distance you would not be able to tell if this is a piece of wood or if this is cardboard. So if you don't have access to anybody that can cut little wood pieces for you, just get some boxes from, if you're like me, you have plenty of Amazon boxes, but Walmart has boxes that range anywhere from, I think, 20 cents up to, I think the highest one is maybe 80 cents. It's not a lot. But, yeah, you can cut this out. Just remember, when you cut one, cut 2, because you're going to need the exact same pieces. There was also somebody that commented on this video that if you found maybe a pineapple cut out of any kind from the Dollar Tree, Hobby Lobby, I guess you could just turn it upside down. See how it kind of does look like a pineapple? So you could just turn your pineapple upside down and paint it like a ghost. But we're going to kind of do this same somewhat concept with our 31 tonight, because I really want it to stand up. Now, if you buy numbers at Michael's, Hobby Lobby, order them off the internet, get somebody to cut them for you. You're going to make sure they're a little thick. That's why I have 2. And I'm not going to so much separate them as far as I did my ghost, but I am going to separate them a little bit, enough to where I can just stand them up. To reinforce it, I got one of these little Dollar Tree wood, probably planks, that you could do a lot of deck painting and decorate on them, hang them up, do all this little different stuff with it. I'm actually, after I put them together, I'm going to put them on this piece of wood. I just wanted to give it just a little bit more stability because I really just want it to seem like they're floating. But there's a lot of numbers that you can buy at Hobby Lobby, Michael's, any craft store that are thicker and would stand up on their own without even having to do this. Mine are just pretty thin and they were just kind of fancy, and even though I've got them cut flat, they would not sit up on their own. Okay, now just like before when we did the ghost, I have these Jenga blocks. They come about, what did we decide, 30 something to a pack? Or also at the Dollar Tree, they have these little tiny wood pieces. And I don't know if you can see them. They're just square little pieces, almost like a Scrabble piece, just a little bit thicker. These would work too because they're actually a little bit thicker than these Jenga blocks. So where we had to put 6 together to get the width of my 2-inch ribbon, these you could probably put a couple of them together, and that's probably all I'll need, because I just need it just wide enough to be stable, but I really don't want you to see them, and I don't want to put a ribbon around the edge. Just like with the ghost, you could find like a smaller ribbon and cover up anything you put in the center. I just love that ribbon look around the edges because ribbon is just so pretty, and you know, can add a lot of things to this. Now I'm going to do them in Halloween colors. One, I'm going to paint orange and maybe do some white polka dots with some puppy paint. The other one I'm going to paint black, and I'm going to use my puppy paint to put maybe a spider web on. And when it comes to this little block, once we get done, hey, just got on, not want to miss it. Oh, hey, how are you? Hey, Diane. Hey, Gabrielle, my little sister is on here. You keep breaking up. I'm sorry, am I breaking up for everybody? I don't know if maybe the weather is bad. It's really calmed down here, but Miss Jane, maybe where you are, it's a little bad. All right, but once we get this done, you know, you have the little spider that you could put on the front of your board. I really couldn't find a little spider because I really, since I did spider webs on here, wanted to have a string hang down and put a little spider on it. But for right now, I'm going to maybe put a bat on it just to kind of give it that spider webby look, because that's what we're going to paint the letter. So real fast, the bottom I'm just going to paint white. My mantelpiece where I would set this, or even my coffee tables, are white. So I kind of want it to blend in, and there's a chance I may not use this, but I want to have it handy in case once I get this done, it just, with the blocks, is not quite as stable as I want it to be. So like I said, I'm going to paint the 1 orange and the 3 black. So I'm going to go ahead and paint a couple of them while they're dry. I'll paint the other one, and this chalk paint really dries really fast. We went over this Waverly chalk paint that I've gotten from Walmart. The Dixie Belle and a lot of these little nicer paints, I mean, they are a whole lot smoother, and you can get them in all different kind of colors. And this only runs about $3 more than this, and we went over this, same price. This is really worth it, the extra cost, because it goes further and you use less paint. This is still, you know, to me, they're both good. I just always look at, you know, how much money I'm spending. This is about $6 and something, and this is like right at 10. But like I said, I'll get more use out of this 10, but it is $3 more. So it works out. So don't be scared to buy nicer paint, because lots of times it goes a lot further. So especially if you have to order something off the internet. I mean, sometimes when I go in Walmart, we'll have, like, they'll stock up and you'll get a good paint. But the thing is like when it's fall, pumpkin is always gone. The orange. Where, like I said, if you find a supplier, a lot of local boutiques and stuff like this sell this good quality paint. Or you probably can go on Dixie Belle. Yeah, DixieBellePaint.com, and they sell it too. So don't be scared to buy a nicer paint because they really are worth it. It goes a lot further. Hey Pam, I missed you today. Hey Sheila. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get started. Let me grab a brush to just put this on. And I'm gonna go ahead and paint both of them the same color, because if I stack them just a little bit like this, you know, you may see behind it, and I don't want you to see behind that it would be another color wood. The thing about getting these letters is they're always black around the edges, so in some projects that works out really good, to where I would just keep them black. Even when I paint the white, I would keep the edge white. It kind of keeps it really clean. But if you do that, in order to, you know, not have to paint the edges, if you take your brush and just do off the edge like this, you don't get any on the edge. I mean, it takes a little bit longer to paint that way, but that way you don't have to worry about going back if half of it starts dripping and stuff off. And the thing is, with chalk paint, you don't really need a whole lot of paint. It goes far. All right, so I'm gonna paint my ones. And I should put this in one of my little bowls. We talked about getting these little bowls. The plastic, it's better than a paper cup because it doesn't soak in. The paper plate just starts soaking your paint up. That's why it gets so dry. And I think I put way too much on my... See, like I'm going to take this brush and go off the edges. That way my side will, you know, stays black and fresh and crisp and not half painted, half not. Because if I messed up and got some over here, then I'd want to go back and paint, you know, all the edges. And it just kind of saves you time when that edge is already a good crisp color for you. Now, a lot of times when you're painting wood, you feel like, you know, you have to do 2 coats. The thing about this Dixie Belle paint that's a little bit nicer is sometimes I only have to do 1 coat. It's kind of like the pigment in it is just a little bit better. But sometimes you just get a piece of wood or something, you know, the background just shows through and you feel like, gosh, I'm going to have to put, you know, 2 or 3 layers on here. I can already tell I'm probably going to want to put a couple layers on here, especially if I want to put white polka dots on it and I want the polka dots to really stand out. Sometimes you may just want it to have like just a washed look and see a little bit of the wood through it. A lot of times I like that too. So, you know, like if I wasn't going to put anything on it and this was more of a fall craft than Halloween, I really like that. It has good coverage and you only see a tiny bit of the wood through it. But I probably will put another coat on it. But if you ever come across something that's really hard to cover up, like you paint this and you're like, I just really don't like that color, go ahead and paint white over it because it just blocks everything out, and then put your next color on it, whatever you decide. That white just makes it where you don't have to do 2 or 3 coats to cover up another color. And I thought about getting the end of my paintbrush and doing the polka dots for this one, but I bought that puffy paint a few weeks ago. I have not used puffy paint in forever, and I just have it, and I feel like, you know, it may make, because I'm not really worried about if the dots are real uniform and exact. If you wanted that, you could get out your little circle dabbers that make, you know, a small up to a large polka dot. So easy. Those make projects, you know, if you just can't do one perfect. Okay, yes, I got way too much paint out. All right, let me put a little bit of black on here. Maybe I won't put so much black. The good thing about this is you can also do this project, do a 25 for Christmas, you know, dates that don't change every year. The 4th, and then the little TH would be cute for 4th of July. You could put stars and stripes, things like that on them. I really liked this when I came across it, but the one I came across was something that was pre-made in a store, and it wasn't ugly. I just thought, oh, there's a lot of little things that I'd want to change on it. And before I get something and start changing it, why not just do it yourself from the beginning? And that way you can make it exactly the way it's a whole lot cheaper. Because lots of times, even when you go to Hobby Lobby and stuff, letters like this, they may be like $3 or something. And then if you catch them, which every other week in Hobby Lobby something's on sale, you probably can catch them 40 or 50% off, and then you're only paying, you know, like $1 for them. Where I want to say the product that I saw for Halloween, I think it was at a Dollar General or something. It was a lot smaller than these letters, and I want to say it was like $6, something like that. Because like I said, it came with a couple of little Halloween spiders and stuff on them, which look really cheesy. So like I said, you can just spend a few dollars, paint them the way you want to, and make them look a lot nicer. Something you want to keep from year to year. And since they're wood and you're already painting them, if you come up and you maybe want to wrap some of these, like a black one, and you could wrap gauze around this that you can get Dollar Tree and kind of make this one look like a mummy. You don't necessarily have to do the same thing that I'm doing. With Halloween, there's so many options. You can paint one of these green, or like we talked about last night, for if you have any little girls or anything like that you know you really just don't want to do a lot of scary stuff or black things at Halloween, you can always use pink, especially gold glitter, and be like Glinda the Good Witch off of Wizard of Oz, and do pink, which is really cute. I saw somebody painted some of the little witch legs that you get from the Dollar Tree, and they did pink and white, and it was really cute. Hey, Miss Patsy. Hey, Linda. Linda, I have your ghost in my car. Hey, Penny. In my car. But this 3 is taking me a little bit longer to paint. I got to make sure I'm doing the same side. So I guess it's backwards 3. And then, like I said, the only reason why I'm really painting this side is because if I make these further apart, and you know, if you look at it a little bit from the side, I don't want you to see the wood color, especially since black, I mean, it's such a stark difference. If it was really close, then you really wouldn't have to change the color. And this one, I'm not so much worried about the edges because the edges are already black, and I'm painting this black, so I need to go a little bit faster so I don't hold y'all up. Now, lots of times, if you think you need 2 coats, which I definitely know this right here is not going to need 2 coats. Maybe the orange may. But if you do, just put a little blow dryer on it or something, and that way you can work with your projects faster and just keep going. Because what happens is acrylic paint, if it's semi-dry, the next coat you got to do on it, it'll pull that paint up, and you'll have like a little splotchy mark where it's coming loose because it wasn't quite dry, especially against wood or plastic or anything like that you're painting. I thought I got way too much orange and not enough this. Hey, Beth, just saw you earlier. Beth and I saw each other at Jennifer White's. Bless her. I mean, she needs sainthood. After I go and see her, she's just the sweetest thing ever. There's never a thing that I don't show her a picture on my phone and she says, nope, can't do that, or that would be too much. She gets right on her computer and pulls it up, and next thing I know, it's cutting on her machine out there. She's just a saint. Hey, Paige. So I know that some people, and I'm so excited that there are people from other states watching me. Oh, that's just so awesome. I know you don't know Jennifer, and you're not really close enough for her to cut, but I asked her today exactly for you that don't live here what it is she has, and it's a laser cutter. It'll actually cut like plexiglass and wood. I think she said the only thing it can't cut is vinyl, and there was one other thing, metal. Maybe metal, yeah. But she wants to get a metal cutter because so many people are liking that. Her husband does. but it'll cut so much. Oh, and Pam, if you are still on here, I saw when she had the plexiglass up today, and I was like, Pam had just asked me that we needed a piece of plexiglass for behind the stove at church. So, Pam, next time I see you and you're at the church, you take your time on when you want to come back to see me. Let's see. That one is just about dry. I see a little bit of places on there, so let me let that dry for just a second. Oops. Nathan, will you do me a quick favor? Yes. Right there, you'll see the blow dryer in there. Will you run these on there for me just a second? Yes. Mm-hmm. I'll give you these black ones too, but they're just about dry on their own. Thank you. Okay, so let's get our puffy paint out. But Pam, she can cut the plexiglass for us. I think maybe once you get this off. Yep, okay. I got these little puffy paints. I don't know if you're like a crafter or me. Since I was young, I've crafted, and I haven't used puffy paint forever. And it actually says fabric paint. But I guess that's because it, you know, it puffs up and it would, I don't know what the difference is, but it's puffy paint, what we would consider puffy paint when we were young. And they have some basic colors at the Dollar Tree in their craft section. Of course, they have black and white. Every now and again, I think that they have different glitter colors, depending on what the season is. Like, I know I saw some yellow and orange and gold, because, and I'm sure they probably have green and red out by now because they're putting a lot of their Christmas stuff out. But I guess it would be really cute to have like a glitter. Maybe it'll dry if you were outlining a little ornament or something. I haven't come across anything that I would need a glitter for. But just having these little black and white ones have really come on in handy. Like, I want to use it here. But if you didn't have puffy paint, you could put your white in your little bowl, and I'll get a little practice piece right here to show you what I'm talking about. Alright, and I'm just using this little Waverly plaster paint. It's not really a stark white, even though really for like this Halloween colors you want a stark white. But let me get like maybe a little piece of paper. I want to show you how simple it would be. You just take a paintbrush, and lots of paintbrushes, and it doesn't matter which ones, are small. Not the end with the brush. The end, that's this. And normally, you know, and they come in a little bit different sizes, but most of the time you have a smaller paintbrush. Thank you so much. A smaller paintbrush. And what you would do is just set it in the paint. And depending on how much you wanted and how did, you would just touch it. And it's going to give you a dot. And every time, I would suggest putting it in every time. You probably could do like this, but then you're going to have that about third one that really, it could mess up your whole project because it's not really going to have the paint. But you would just dab it. Depending on, you could barely touch it. You could do different size dots. I think that's what I'm going to do on this one, is try to make them a little bit random in size. So if I do have one that gets a little bit bigger than the other one, it won't be so noticeable. But you see how, you know, this would do dots just fine. And this is what I usually always do. But since I bought this puffy paint and it's just kind of been sitting around, and I haven't really gotten any projects that would need anything like that, I thought I would try it on this project. So, but just know you have that option. Alright, so these are dry, and I think I'm still going to put a little bit, another coat. I know the black doesn't need another coat, and the second coat shouldn't take as long because you don't have to cover as much. And maybe with the polka dots it wouldn't be such a big deal, but I just want to give it that really crisp orange color because, you know, Halloween is not like fall. You know, I like a little bit of rustic. Like I said, for fall I would have loved the wood to have shown through, but for Halloween it's just really bold colors. So And y'all are just not going to believe all the cute little Halloween. If you're like me, I really am not a Halloween decorator. You know, when it comes to the little stuff I put around my house, but get into all this, you know, it just makes you want to do that kind of stuff. So I have all this Halloween thing. So after this weekend, I think I may have company this weekend, I'm going to leave my fall up, but the more we make, next week I'm going to do my mantelpiece Halloween, and we'll change our tree, which I don't think I'll change my tree. I think I'm just going to get the other one that I have just like it, and you know, maybe pull this one to the side, because you know, after Halloween, you still have from Halloween to Thanksgiving that I would love to go back to fall. So, you know, the stuff on my mantelpiece will just be a matter of taking one down, putting it back up. That's not a big deal for me. Like my name says, Cynthia Sins Crafting Bin. I am a bin person. I have bins for every little thing that I do, and a lot of them, and they're not all like small ones either. But I'll probably just pull that little tree to the side and then put my Halloween tree up for the next month, and then slide this one back over. But eventually I really want to have my 2 trees that I would set up here on either side of my mantelpiece for Christmas. Both Christmas, I would like to have both fall and both Halloween. But right now, just kind of making ornaments and little things like that and trying it out for the first time, I just did one. All right, so I want to set this to the side, but I don't want to mess because I'm sure I'm going to need them. Okay, while this is drying again, I know that this black, yeah, it's just about dry, and it's dry enough for me to work with it. All right, I'm going to do some of the blocks first before I attempt to put the puffy paint on there, because I really think puffy paint, I'm going to have to get the, you know, dry it a little bit. But let's see, 2, 4, 6 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 36 blocks come in this too. And I'm pretty sure in the Jenga blocks that we use, if I remember counting back, it was like 36. But like I said, these are a little bit wider than this. And I don't want it too wide because it's not holding up as much as our ghost did. It was 2 inches wide. And I mean, and it had like a good bit to, and this is only about half the size and probably just a third of the weight. So I may only do 2. And I told myself that I was only going to put them on the bottom, because I really just don't want you to see the, okay, give me just a second and I'm going to figure this out. Hey, Miss Phyllis, have you went and got your dollar store fall tree yet that you were going to try, that you said I was talking you into it? And I may have to go back and paint these black, which isn't too bad, because I'm thinking maybe just one will give me the stability that I'm going for, especially if I put it on this. Let's see what 2 look like. I just really don't want to do 2. I think that's just too far apart. But I think 2 is. I'll have to do less of them groups if I do 2. All right, so just like before, I'm going to put all my little blocks together, and this time I'm not covering up my blocks, so at the end I may have to go back and paint these little blocks. I think if I had some kind of natural color like this in my wood somehow, if it was, you know, more of a burlap, or if I painted them brown or put like a little rustic truck looking on here, which is still fine for Halloween, I wouldn't mind them being this natural wood so much, but I think I will probably go back and paint them, because I just didn't want to put a ribbon. I have a lot of really cute Halloween ribbon, but I didn't want them so far apart, and I didn't want anything to take away, because this time I want to put decorations on the front of my letter itself. I mean number. So let's see, right now I'm only doing 2. Let me put that about right there. I'm definitely going to have to paint this one that's going to go around the curve, because you'll definitely be able to see that. I mean, it is as wide as the board. Maybe put it on the side right there, and then I'll put one. Not yet. Been busy with kids, folks. All right, so let's have one there. And now for this, I mean, I probably could put 2 on it and it would keep it separated, but since it's such a thin little, I don't want this part to be really flimsy, so I'm going to put them at least on the edges. So I am probably going to have to go back and paint these, but since the sides will be open on these, I don't think it will be. Wish I cut that one in half, but I'm just going to have to deal with. Hold on, I got to think about that. That's a little bit wider, and I definitely don't want you to see the blocks from the front. Put them more in the center. So I don't think on the ends I'm going to put any, so maybe I'll just put this like so, and it'll still give me that look. I mean, the stand-up stability part of it, but I won't have to put them on the very tips of them. I mean, I know they'll probably move and be a tiny bit flimsy. Oh, thank you so much for sprinkling. But nobody's gonna move. It's not like anybody's gonna walk up to my mantelpiece and say this part's moving, so. Okay. So, just like before, it would be so easy for me just to glue it straight down. But the whole point that I'm making it kind of 3D effect is so it can stand up on its own. So, the best thing to do is you're going to have to put your glue on each ones, and we're going to stand this up. Trying to get it somewhat on a level place. Glue it together when it's standing up to make sure you have them both on the ground level. So find like a little level place and give me just a second. My glue may start to run down a little bit, and I really don't want a lot of that to happen. So give me just a second. Make sure, okay, this is level. Go ahead and put them down, and then I'm going to bring them together. And the good thing about this is the 3 right there. Oops. Yeah. Okay, I may have to redo that. Just want to slide back a little bit. Maybe it's back heavy. Alright, so that part is kind of where it needs to be. But I moved my glue, so let's try that again. Got it on the first time with my ghost, and this one's gonna give me just a little bit of trouble. And it seems to want to be a little bit like it won't, like, so maybe when I put my thing on the over here, the little bat, it's gonna help it stand up straight. But let's see if I have enough glue on here. Let that run down a little bit together, and this one the same way. But y'all, I did not give up when it comes to projects. If this is rolling over, even if I had to find some way to see, because it's sitting up perfect, but I'll let you see it from the front. It's a little bit heavy. Probably since I added the blocks on it, it's wanting to roll back that way. So I've got to come up with a way to make it weigh a little bit more on the front. And I remember I wanted to take this little bat. Hold on. Let me take it loose from off this little sheet. I got these at the Dollar Tree for, there was like, looks like 4. Then they have these little clips on them. And even if I never use the little bat, the little clips on them, you know, are really handy on projects. So maybe when I have the little string and the bat dangling down from the top of the tree, it'll help weigh it down. There you go with your mouth. Oh my gosh, am I doing it again? But also remember, and I haven't painted it yet, that I brought this out. And even if these come from the dollar store, these little wooden plates, even if I had to do the 3 with this and get another one and do my 1, I'm going to paint this the color of my mantle. So it's really not a big deal that I still don't know if I got it level. I don't know if it's this table, but I could just always glue it down to this. Okay, so our 3 is done. Let's work on our 1, which seems to be like it's still a little wet. So let's put a little bit of our white paint on here, just in case at the end I have to use this. I want it to already be dry. Now, let's see. And listen, I already have our project out for tomorrow night. I got a big jack-o'-lantern head. And I don't know if you've ever seen the big galvanized metal jack-o'-lantern heads. A lot of people put them on their mantles, lean them up against their fireplace maybe, and they're actually really tall. But you probably could get them at any size. But, oh, a little black got on that. Okay, we'll fix that. It'll just be like the edges are highlighted. Okay. Yeah, that blended right on in. What we're going to do is I have been practicing the technique of painting something wood or anything that you have to make it look like it's galvanized. So I'll show it to you in just a minute what I have, especially while we're waiting on this stuff to dry. Okay, so this is our wood palette. I'm just doing it white. You could do it whatever color you wanted to, because if I set it up on my mantle is already white, and I really don't want anything to take away from my letters. Let me get some of this glue. Got little hot glue gun webs. And well, all this kind of stuff, it seems like I got 100 little things going at once. Put way too much of one paint, not enough of the other. I'm gonna maybe throw just a little bit of black on these blocks, just so we don't see them like we are now. And it shouldn't take but a second because they're not that big, and it's actually easy to paint once I have them glued on here, because you don't have to hold them on your fingers and get the paint all over your fingers. Now I probably will go back just so it kind of looks professional and like I really bought it, you know, somewhere. Okay, all this money on it. I mean, I didn't. And I'll go back and paint the back and then the other side of the 3, even though nobody will ever look at that part. You know, it just kind of cleans everything up to just have everything that one color. But I don't have to do that right now on the live. I mean, and you never know. I mean, I could want to take this and set it on like your kitchen island. I have an island, and somebody would walk all the way around it. So, just, I mean, right now sitting on my mantelpiece is not really a big deal, but you never know. Next year I may want to set it somewhere else and it would just be a lot better. And then I wouldn't worry about, oh, I can't set that right there because I didn't paint the back of it. So like I said, once you're done with it and everything, just go ahead and paint all sides. And especially with this black, you know, it's so dark and covers so well, you don't have to do multiple coats on this. And see the little pieces, you see the bottom I haven't did it and you can actually still see it, but at the top it's kind of like they've disappeared because, you know, I've painted them. So it kind of hides the fact that there's something between them. But like I said on the Ghost, you could go back, find a ribbon that you like. Just make sure that you measure your ribbon and, you know, that your ribbon doesn't overlap. You don't really, I guess you could pull it on the back, but then you run into the fact of what we were just saying is you have to put it somewhere where your ribbon is, you know, the back is never showing. Got a little piece of glue there kind of hanging out, but I'm just going to paint over it instead of trying to take it off. It's kind of a little glue clump, and it may pull it apart or loosen it in some way. So just that quick, just throwing on a little paint on all sides. Did I grab? No. One last side I didn't see. That way all the middle part disappears and it just kind of looks like it's a 3D 3. But like I said, when you buy these like really thick letters and all that, I mean, sometimes they can run you like $8 a piece. In this instance, it's good because you're only getting 2 numbers, so it's still not a bad project, and you can always wait and get them 50% off because every other week something goes on sale at Hobby Lobby or Michael's, 50% off, and you could go ahead and grab the thicker numbers, and then you don't have to do all of this that I'm doing. But I rarely go to Augusta. I mean, I just left Walmart, and all of their Christmas stuff this year is so cute. I can only imagine how I'm gonna feel when I go into Hobby Lobby. I'm probably gonna be broke because I'm gonna want to buy everything, and you only have so many trees and shelves. Let's see. There you go with your mouth. Okay. Yes, I know I do it really bad. So we're still going to put our spider web on that, but let's let it dry. I mean, for some reason the white dries a lot faster than the black dries a lot faster than anything else. All right, this one is really dry, so I'm gonna let this be the bottom, and I want mine to be the same width apart. So I'm gonna do 2. I wouldn't, whatever you do on one, do on the other, because you don't want it to look like you picked up 2 different numbers. That would be my thing, is to make them the same. And probably at the end, just like I did on this other one. But with this one, I probably don't have to do as many as I did on the other one. And you don't have to use a lot of glue on this, because sometimes if you get a big dab of glue in between them, it makes them a little bit thicker, and you want them all to be the same. These little wood, I mean, even the little Jenga other wood block pieces were like that. If I didn't squeeze them hard enough, get all the little glue spread out really good. It probably wouldn't help to use like maybe a little super glue, but I like to work with mine really fast. So y'all know how I am about my hot glue gun. It's like the best thing ever that I've gotten this year. I was laughing at Chris, telling him that everybody is going to remember 2020 because of COVID or how everything's changed. I'm going to remember 2020 because this is the year that I got my cordless glue gun. I'm in love with this thing. I love it. Okay, so I'm only going to do around 4 on this, because it's just, you don't have to do a whole lot, because you're just separating these. Probably could get away with just 3. I'm going to do 4 just to make sure. And I love the fact that once we painted them, they disappear, because unlike the Ghost, I worried about doing this without putting a ribbon on the edge, and I just really did not want to put a ribbon on the edge. So I only put 4 on this one. Remember, Easy to do that, but the whole point is you've got to have these level on the bottom. So stand it up and then put them together. This one's going to be a whole lot easier than the 3 was. As far as like, and the ghost, I don't know what I did. The ghost just kind of came together really well. Okay, everything seems good. And see, unlike the one, hold on, there's one little place where it doesn't feel as dry as I want it to be. I'm pretty sure this one is just going to stand up by itself, and that's really what I wanted it to do. I hate having to put something on the bottom of them, but I don't want it to constantly fall over, even if I put a little, let's see, it'll go on this side, right? Yeah. I think it's backwards for you on here. But, I mean, I don't know, that's going to probably drive me a little while to have to put it on that sheet, this little stabilizer, just because the one is sticking up so well. I mean, I can tell myself that I'm putting it on here and I'm able to put a little spider on the bottom of it or something like that, but I really just like the fact that they would just sit there on there. So I'm probably going to work on this until I can get it as stable, even if I have to pull it apart and re-glue it somehow and put, maybe if I put more blocks over here, it'll help weigh this side down. So I think I'm going to stick with that because I really like the fact that they will stand alone on something. I don't have to hang it on the wall or anything like that. Okay. Just got paint all over it. Okay, so now on the 3, what we're going to do is a spider web. I'm not going to like do the spider webs everywhere. I'm going to do maybe like one in this corner, one up here, just random. I'm not going to cover the entire thing, but the polka dots, I really want to cover the entire thing on that. All right, so just like you, I would have to practice and make sure that I'm doing a little spider web. I would think you would do a square. Do a square on the outside and then connect them. But I don't know if I like this puffy paint, but I think if I take my time, it's still gonna give me what I want. Okay. So the first one is up on this corner. And just going to, and then I'm going to connect it. We'll make one a little bit bigger than that one. And I want it to run off the side like this, like you'll see. You know, like you did a project and the polka dot ran off the corner. I want the spider web to, you know, like it's running off the corner. And I'm glad I kind of stuck with the puffy paint on this particular one because you know, it's easy to do polka dots with the end of my but how would you do this with, I mean, I would actually have to paint it on here probably. So I would say, unless you have a real steady hand, this puffy paint is actually working out really well for what I want it to do. See, I'm just doing a square, like maybe not an octagon, but making points, then connected the points. And I love that, just the corner. So I'm going to do a smaller one here, maybe one right in the center, and just so it's not, the whole thing isn't just one big spider web. So I hope you stick with me, and then we'll do the polka dots on the other one. All right, so what is something 5-sided? Is that like the Pentagon? They're gonna think I'm an idiot. I forget. Or something six-sided. I'm sure there are all kind of ways to paint a spider web. If you're nervous about it, go on YouTube, and all you have to do in your search is how to paint a spider web or how to draw a spider web, and it'll probably teach you this cute little neat trick that'll make it so much easier than probably what I'm doing. But this, I'm really surprised, and I'm glad I came across it when I was getting my supplies out. This puffy paint is really making this easy as far as making straight lines. And it's not perfect in places, but I mean, if you do them so far away like that, then you get the idea of what it is. Instead of, if I did it all over, it would kind of look like I just had a triangle pattern. And hey, from Mohawk, Tennessee. Oh my gosh, you're the third person from Tennessee, a third different thing. Hey, Sandy. You are so creative. Love your creative project you do. Thank you so much. That's so sweet. Oh my gosh, I love out of town people. I mean, I love all my in-town people too. I love them, but I just think it's super cool when they're from another state. Okay, this is going to be like maybe a tiny part of the spider web. Over here in the corner. Okay.
All right.
Okay. Now this one I'm gonna make, and I like the fact that when they're in the corner, if they're not perfect, it doesn't bother me. So I think instead of doing one like right in the center, I'm gonna keep to it and just do one in the corner, maybe one in this corner, because I like that. And it doesn't make you feel like you have to be so perfect with it. Trying to think of what Spider-Man looks like. I don't have any little boys, so Nathan, you'll have to come look at this and tell me if I'm making like a correct Spider-Man. Do you watch the Avengers? Stuff like that. Oh, Spider-Man on the Avengers? No. Yeah, he is. Okay. This is my attempt at a larger one. I think it still lets you know kind of what we're doing without it being probably correct. Okay. It probably wouldn't hurt every now and again to wipe this tip off. I've noticed a little bit was staying on the tip after you do so much. Yes, now I'm back to doing super straight lines. Okay, so we're still going. Oh, I like it. And see how it's so black, and then this is like really white. This is the time to use that like Snow White color, instead of like the little plaster that's kind of in between off-white and regular. All right, let's see. Let's do a little one right here. And I like just doing the little ones. Like I said, you don't have to be so perfect. And then I'm going to do one on this little tip. And we'll be... I think if I had a picture of one, I wouldn't be so nervous about it. But it's kind of like you're just freehanding them this way when I don't really have anything to look at. All right, so I'm not going to touch it anymore because I really, really like this. And I think it's really cute. Wish I could get that to stand up so that way I could show y'all, but I'm going to make sure this dries really good, and I'll probably pull it apart and glue it back because I feel like if I did 2 more over here, the weight would be good. Oh, touch that. I didn't mess it up, did I? Did just a little tiny bit. But I'm going to let it dry before I try to fix it. Okay. Setting that off to the side so I don't mess it up anymore. Okay, the white. Okay, now it's dry. I love the fact that it just sits up perfect. Ha! Nothing really ever you know. Let's see. I hear Chris cooking. He did. He butterflied open a whole chicken and just took it off the Traeger, and so I'm going to be excited to finish. All right. Hey, Amy. All right, so I'm going to do the polka dots on here, and the puffy paint worked so well on that I really want to try the puffy paint on here. If it just gets where because I think they'll actually pull out a little bit, so it'll kind of just give it that little effect on it too. So I really want to use the puffy paint on here too, and I think I've used this one, and I sure hope it's not dried up in this, because that's what makes it awesome. Well, if it was clogged up, I stopped it up. I mean, I opened it back up and a whole bunch of it flew out. Oh, thank you so much for the hearts and stuff. Love this project. Gonna make a trip to town. Yes. And for the local people, I'm sure she didn't charge, she's not going to charge very much for this. It's really small, but she saved it in her computer. So all you have to do is either text her what you want, text me what you want, and I can get you these numbers. But like I said, if you don't live here, unless you know someone who has a laser cutter, if you're a project person, find somebody near you that has a laser cutter, because I mean, like I said, sky's the limit on what you can tell them you want, because on their programs, all they have to do is have a picture of it, and then they can cut it. They don't have to have like a program with this, like a font. I think I found the font that I wanted on dafont.com. We looked it up, and this is I can't remember what it was called, Sweet Hipster or something, the numbers that we liked, and then she's able to cut them, so it makes it. But you know, Hobby Lobby, Michaels, they all have really cute letters too. You just may want to, you know, change the color of them. Even if you get some of the ones that are metal, you can paint, especially chalk paint will go on anything. Paint them the color you want to. So just get a 3 and a 1, and some of them are already thick. Even if they're not this thick, they're, you know, just enough for them to set up, and most of them do, because you know, people making projects like that. But like I said, if you're local, let me know. Yes, if he got a laser cutter, oh my gosh, Jennifer, I could, you know, I go out there all the time, but see her, but I'd have to come see you because I love wood cutouts. I mean, if I can't get to her and get something, I'll get a box and cut out a box, because like I said, if this was 2 pieces of cardboard like this, once you paint it, put it together, you would not be able to tell that it was not wood. Or metal or whatever, you know, you want it. Because you can even, like tomorrow, I'm going to show you how to paint something to look like it's galvanized and it's wood. All right, so we're going to paint these little polka dots. And like I said, I like the puffy paint because I don't know if you can already see, it's kind of poking out. Let me see if I put my hand behind it. See how it's kind of like poking out too? So it kind of has that like effect on it too, instead of just being just a dot. And I want to do different sizes on this, because number one, I don't want them to all be the same, because if that one is different, it'll drive me nuts. So if I already tell myself that I want them to all be different sizes, it won't bother me. Oh my gosh, and I don't know if you can see how there's just all puffing out, just perfect. And I'm just gonna do little dots all over it. But like I did spider webs on here, I don't really can't think of right off my head, bats maybe, or maybe pumpkin eyes or something like that. You could maybe do a pumpkin triangle, eyes, nose, and mouth in different corners, like we did the spider webs, but I just really like the polka dot, so. Now, something Jennifer taught us on some of her videos on painting door wreaths is if you worry about where your polka dots go and you just want to have like a neat little pattern, a good pattern to go is in a triangle. Like, make sure like you have a triangle from here. You know, wherever you go, it's in a triangle. Now mine, I'm just going to do it, but I'm just saying if you wanted to have a specific little pattern, that is really a good pattern to follow, the triangles. And even if you had to do this out of cardboard, I really like that the sides are black. It just seems a whole lot neater. I don't think it would be bad if I had painted it orange, and I'm going to paint the little blocks inside, but I like the fact that the polka dots are black in the side. It just kind of gives it a uniform kind of look for me. I'm watching my mouth. And maybe for it to be the same, I guess you could go on the back in here and try to put dots, but I don't think I am, because I don't think they would look as well as the ones on the front as far as sticking up. And I don't think it's something I could do before the Jenga block, before the little blocks that I put in between it, unless you know exactly where those blocks are, because after this paint dried, you would have to chip some of them off to make your little blocks lay down flat, even and flat. But if you know exactly where you are, where they're going to go, you can do that. But if you don't like it the exact same, or you're like, well, I'm just not really a Halloween person, which is fine, you could maybe get the 25 and do a 25 for Christmas. And you really don't have to paint them. You could decoupage on here like a real pretty special at Christmas. If you had a 25, you could do like a plaid on one, or maybe, candy cane stripes on one, and swirly. I think Neely is trying to call me. She's got to know that I'm on here. But all right, let me make sure my phone is still charging, because I don't want it to go off on us like at that time. If something happens and it's for some reason not charging, or something's happened, know that I will post a picture of it, when it's done. All right, let's see. I love this puffy paint. All right, I'm tired of doing like that. And for a lot of people that are like animal print you know, this color. I bet like a cheetah print, and maybe do like the three, like a leopard would be really cute. I mean, you could put like a little cheetah print pumpkin in the front of it, which I have. Would be really cute. And just like before when we did the other stuff, remember the very first pumpkin for Georgia, we decoupaged it with glue on our wood pieces. You can get different fabric that you already have. Maybe if you had some Halloween fabric and you had just some little pieces and you've been looking for little projects to do the pieces with. Neely, I love watching you learning a lot. Thank you. And your last name, my maiden name is Neely, but it's not L-E-Y, it's just L-Y. And I named my daughter Neely Ann. But, oh my gosh, where are you from? I don't know if I've looked on here. Hey, Aunt Nancy, to see where you are. Pauline, it's okay if you're late. Plus, you can always go back and watch the replay. All right, we are almost done. Okay. See, I did them different sizes. That way I didn't have to worry about if I was doing some, you know, bigger than the other one and they weren't all uniform. But I really do think that's really cute. I think it would be really cute. I've got like a lot of like little, it's just puffing out so cute. If you took one of those circle daubers that we've done before and you did like bigger polka dots, I think it would look just as good. I just wanted to try that puffy paint on it. Now, hold on, I'm so scared. What if it fell forward and it splashed all those? Ah! All right, so I've got this little string here that I'll show you. Now let me switch this up. And I think puffy paint, it's gonna take a little bit more to dry. Like I probably can go in there and put it on, yeah, the blow dryer, and it still would dry, but it's gonna take, you know, acrylic paint dries pretty fast, but this is not gonna dry fast. So let me, what I'm talking about when I say I'm gonna put this on my three. Oh, my battery died. But I know one more thing we can do while I'm waiting on this is paint the little blocks on my one in between. I mean, and you can't, they're not as noticeable from the front as the three was, but you know, just slightly to the side, and you can see them just a little bit. And on this one, I only have, touch the edge of that, no, I only have 4. So, what is up with me touching the side of this? So you'll see that not too bad. And it probably would be better to paint them at the end, because trying to glue them, making sure they're all straight, and like I said, it's easier to paint them because you're not having to touch these little pieces. I need to try to come up with some little projects to do with these little blocks too. Using them in, I ordered a 3-tier tray because I've really been seeing a lot of the little tiered arrangements that people do, and you make kind of little miniature ornaments or wall hangings and you set on top of them. And I think these little blocks would be really good for one of those projects. I think I don't get it for a couple of days, the little tier. But the little miniature banners or little pennant banners that you can make to put on are just adorable. So see, we did it. So now even if I have them to the side, they're not as noticeable. It's those stark wood colors. And like I said, I'll go back and paint on both of them the other side, just so you know it's something you can walk all the way around them if you had to. But I'm pretty sure my glue gun gets hot really fast. So let's take this little piece that we cut, and I just have a little piece of jute here, but sometimes when you get certain decorations, it'll come with a little piece of elastic on it. You really can use anything. I just already had this out, and it was black, so it matched this, but a little piece of yarn would be fine too. Okay. I'm gonna stick this on the back. Let me hold it down with my scissors. I'm trying to get a little bit smarter about this hot glue gun and not take all the skin off my fingers. Fort Payne, Alabama, right? Thank you so much. And Neely, is that your name, your maiden name, or did you marry a Neely? Everybody my whole life, if they misspelled my name, it was always L-E-Y, when mine is just L-Y. So I knew there were some, you know, that were, let's see, so I want to cut it about right there. And the good thing about this little bat, I think I have a spider. I just didn't really want to dig out all my, it has this little clip on it. So all I'm going to do is put this little clip on the end of my string. So I got that little bat hanging down. And I really don't want him to flip around, but I guess there's really nothing else. I guess I could take that little clip off and clip him, and glue him straight to the string. That way if he twists around, it would be okay and you really wouldn't see the clip. But I think that's really cute. A spider is, when I find my spider, it'll look really cute too. But let me see if I can do that real quick, because you know that'll irk me. And I love these little clips. Keep these little clips. They are so perfect to stick on anything, especially if you want to put it on a tree or just clamp it together on, you know, any kind of raffia. If you're making a little bow, it's just these little clips are perfect for different, all kind of different projects. So let me see if I can do it on the top of his head, and then he will, my luck, however I clip him on here, if it's not straight down, he'll turn to the back. But maybe if and something that I've learned about myself, and you see how I did this two-sided, I mean, when you get these little packs from the dollar store, especially if they're little figures like this, I had 4 on this entire thing. I could take another one, sandwich him on the other side, and sandwich the string in between it. That way, no matter how he turns, it'll always be from the front. See, of course, you know, he's kind of wanting to stay backwards, and that would drive me nuts if that just continued to happen. But if I end up leaving him on it, I'll probably take another one, put it on the other side. That way, no matter how it circles, he will always be in the front. And you can always make him a little bit shorter and go in between those. But I just think, you know, you get the effect of it being a spider web, and he's a bat. But I'm going to find my spiders. But you see, it's really cute hanging down. So if you had one up, I don't want to hold you up anymore since we're done with it. This one in here, and I'm pretty sure it's probably still backwards on here. But here is my 31, and I wish, you know, that I could make it where it would look right. But I'll take a picture and post it in just a little bit. People pronounce it Nelly instead of Neely. Oh my God. And that is so funny. They do. Neely's, one of my nephews, oh, Stephanie, she's probably on here. My oldest sister, Stephanie, her son, Bernie, has called Neely Nelly her whole life. And then now that he knows that we pick on him, he purposely calls her Nelly all the time. My first name gets pronounced wrong more than my last. I don't even want to try. I am horrible with phonics. I don't even want to try to pronounce your name. And yeah, I'll have to ask my husband. He probably knows exactly how to pronounce your name, but I would probably butcher it. But yes, Bernie calls Neely Nelly all the time. Nelly Ann. Where's Nelly? All right, so I hope you think it turned out really cute, and once I set it up on the mantle, I'll take a picture, and that way you can see it when it's not flipped upside down. And I will see you tomorrow. Oh, I told you I'd show you what we're going to do tomorrow, and hopefully I won't be late tomorrow. It'll be 7:30. Yes, I got this cut out, and this is another thing that you could get cardboard and cut it out too. It's just a tall jack-o'-lantern. If I decide to do it my ghost, so Jennifer doesn't have to cut me another one of these wood pieces, I would probably just lay it down on cardboard, trace it, put it on it, and that way, because I actually did buy it to lean it up against the fireplace, my mantle top, but it is another one that would be super, super cute, just like this. Even this ribbon, or I've got a lot of ribbon that, pretty Halloween, but I don't want to paint him just orange. The first time I saw this, it was a piece of galvanized metal, the like wavy crimped metal. And so I was like, there's got to be a way that you can paint something and make it look like galvanized metal. So I watched this little tutorial on it, and that's what we're going to do tomorrow. You need like several different colors for it. Like the very back, you need a dark, just a gray color, not really so much black gray, but really, really solid on the darker side gray as your background. And then we're going to use a couple different metal colors, a metallic silver and metallic gunmetal gray, and you just do almost like an old school sponging on it, like you used to do sponge painting. And we'll paint him tomorrow to make him look like galvanized metal. And like me, once you learn this, I've got all these like cute little ornaments that I've painted. And it really does. You think that it's like a piece of metal, and it's just either a piece of wood or, like I said, cardboard. Or other ornaments that are just, sometimes give Dollar Tree a chance, or Walmart or something, because you could find an ornament that just could be the ugliest little thing you like what it is, you just don't like the way it's painted or what color it is. But everything now is galvanized and distressed and antiqued looking, to where if you do find an ornament for a couple of bucks or just $1 that you like, but you just think it's really get it, paint it, try different things on it, decoupage cloth on it, because you can really turn it into something you want. And crafting is really fun. So I hope I have inspired you to maybe go out and get some numbers, or start thinking about what you want to decorate for Halloween. And I will see y'all tomorrow.